Dr. Scott in the house again this morning with our next step of our wellness program. Scott Uhal is here from the Phil Long Dealerships, the wellness director there. And last week we talked about portion controls with food, but today we're talking about the food themselves, like breaking things down, sugars and carbohydrates and stuff, right?
Right. Let's take your typical soft drink right there. That, believe it or not, this is a 20-ounce Coke. And that's the amount of sugar that you would get in a 20-ounce Coke. It's about 2.5 ounces. And I don't think that you would put that much in almost anything, including coffee. So to me, that's a bad carb. You want to try to minimize that. And
why is that? Why would that be bad? I mean, all that sugar?
That's a lot of sugar. Your body is very efficient at converting that to fat and storing it, especially if you are in that starvation response that I made reference to before.
How much sugar should we have in a normal day?
Well, sugar, you want to try to minimize it, but sugar is a carbohydrate. It's a type of carb, and I think that a good ratio of food is 40% carb, again, minimize the bad carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat.
Okay, so something like that, I mean, that's basically like a whole day's worth of sugar.
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar. That's close to a day's worth of sugar, no doubt about it.
Okay, so that's why it's important to read food labels, right?
Right. Food labels give you a lot of information, and one of the things that you can do, let's take this Cheez-It bottle here.
It says reduced fat on the box.
It is
Must
reduced
be good,
fat.
right?
It's better. It's not necessarily good, but you can look at the fat content per serving, and over there you'll see that it has 40 calories of fat. And a quick, dirty, easy way to measure the fat content is if you triple that value, so 40, 80,
so these
120,
numbers up here?
Correct. If that value is still under the calories per serving, which you see there to be 130, you know that that's under 33% fat, and that's a fairly decent food choice.
So basically you take the calories, which was 120 in this case,
right,
and then calories per serving is 40. 3 times 40 is 120, so it's still under the 130 barrier.
That's correct.
Threshold,
and so that lets you know that it's less than 33% fat. And you don't want to omit fats that have no fat in them, because you're going to remove so many fats, so many foods from your food choice that your diet is just not very good.
We got a box of cupcakes here. Can you talk about these numbers? I mean, doing your math equation.
Again, the same thing. If you take the fat content, it's 80 calories per serving on this. You triple that. That equals the 240 calories in the serving. That's right at the Mendoza line of whether I would consider that to be a good food or bad. It's also high in sugar. It's a breakfast food. I would probably omit that from my diet.
And then we also want to talk about sodium real quick. This is a can of ravioli.
Right. Cans of a lot of non-perishable foods, for example, soups. I don't know if you can see that there. There's the label. A lot of soups are good, but they're very high in salt. And if you'll notice that there's 2 servings per container, so if you ate that whole thing, you're eating 2 servings.
So this is 38% of the daily allowance.
Right, and you're getting 80% of your salt in just that one serving. So you do have to watch out for canned foods.
Wow, so much to learn when you're shopping in the grocery store. We're going to talk more with Scott next week. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Love to be here.
And keeping us healthy.